Welcome back to Roll for Puppets Season 4 Episode 12, the series where we let these dice design our next creature. Thank you so much for those of you who have stuck around for all of Season 4 so far and have watched the new head shapes and all of the chaos. Today is going to be a really great episode, so let's get started by, of course, rolling for our head shape with a d20. And we have a 12, which is of course going to be for the Wilson head shape, which we have seen once this season so far. Moving on to our personality roll with our chaos dice, and today we have, and this is dice 2 by the way because we're alternating the dice each week, we've rolled a dealer's choice, which, thank you, the dice gods are trusting us. That is such an honour. So let's get started by making our Wilson head shape out of the reticulated foam. Our dealer's choice is going to be underground because we've only been able to do that once this season so far, and I definitely feel like it needs a comeback. And let's all quickly thank and praise the bandsaw with a very special brand new piece of merch, our All Hail the Bandsaw enamel collectible puppet pin. This is the brand new pin of the month for our Patreon pin club, so if you haven't joined over there yet and you would like a chance to get free puppet pins every single month and also being able to vote on which ones we get, which ones we design, and you can see here 2 of our previous designs, the Forbidden Honey Sandwich pin and also the little fluffy Gerbil pin. All of our pins will be linked in the description of this video, and they are currently 2 for £10, so head over there if you would like to start your own little puppet pin collection. They're so cute. But once all of the reticulated foam is cut out on the bandsaw, all hail the bandsaw, we're going to glue it all together with our contact adhesive for our Forbidden Honey Sandwich, press it together once the glue is dry, and then of course we're going to have our S for Sexy on the mouth plate, which then gets glued together with the black fleece and the forbidden ice cream sandwiches, and it all gets glued together in one delicious go into the puppet's head. And the Wilson head shape is relatively new. We designed it for Season 4 specifically, so you would have only seen it once, and we've only made it 3 times. So it can sometimes be a little bit tricky putting a brand new head shape together, but here it is. And now, of course, we need some colours, starting off by rolling for the amount of colours, and we have 1. So we're going for a monochrome puppet, and that colour is going to be a 7, which is blue. A monochrome blue Wilson. Underground. Not the first colour that screams underground to me. I was hoping for maybe like a green or a brown or even a red, but here we go. The dice know what they're doing. Do not question the dice. So we have this beautiful deep blue, fluffy, luxurious faux fur, which we're going to cut out for the body. And then a slightly different coloured blue fleece, which is going to be for the hands and also for the arms. We're just going to cut all of that out, sew it up on the sewing machine. And the fun challenge with a monochrome puppet is always just trying to get the colours right, because you don't want the whole puppet to look flat, so you don't want it all to be the same shade of blue, but you obviously want to keep within the colour scheme that the dice have given you, so it's nice to play with different shades and just different textures as well, so that the puppet still looks 3D and finished, but completely monochrome. And I know that especially from the first 3 seasons that people have watched on TikTok, they really seem to enjoy the monochrome puppets. It's a lot of people's favourites, so let's see how this one turns out. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to keep my mouth shut and sew up these seams here on the puppet's head. Actually, I can't keep my mouth shut because I'm doing the voiceover, so once we're done with all of the hand sewn sections, we're going to be able to doll joint those arms onto the puppet's fluffy body. And the blues are very cool toned and hopefully are going to work really well with the underground theme. So we're going to have our happy dance and our full colourful reveal. Here is our blue puppet so far. Now, of course, we need to roll for our eyes, and we have a 3, which is for cab eyes. So we need to roll for our iris colour with a d20, and we have 9 for rust. So the dice said monochrome, actually, yeah, forget that. I want this really deep kind of red-orange colour in the eyes. So we said, okay dice, we're going to glue those into some 45mm cabochon eyes. We wanted really bright eyes because this puppet has to be able to see underground. The orange and the blue do work really well together. I will give it to the dice. So we're just going to screw those in place once we've found the right positioning. This always looks really brutal, but I promise no puppets were harmed in the making of this video. Then, with a really dark, rich, midnight blue fleece, we're going to find the right positioning for some eyelids. draw them in place, glue them, and we kind of have this grumpy, downturned expression. Because although we didn't want them to be like a monster, we definitely wanted them to have a very grumpy personality. Moving on to our features, we have 9, 12, 15, and 19, which is going to be for clothing, spots, jewellery, and doubling something up. That is a very unique features role. First of all, we're going to make a bright blue fleecy puppet tongue because every puppet needs a tongue, and we're going to glue that in place. Now, for the clothing, we really went a little bit wild here. So we're thinking like caveman vibes. And so we came up with this idea to have like a headdress made out of an animal pelt. So instead of like a normal hat or a normal like vest or something, we really wanted it to look very natural and like a cave-dwelling ancient man was adorning himself with something that he had caught. So instead of this being underground as in a creature, it's actually a human, but they are just adorned with the skin of a bear. So we made up this little custom headpiece with a foam base, and then we tailored this really warm fur to fit it. Just as a prototype initially, we shaved down a lot of where the snout of the animal would be, and we just made sure that it fit, and we made sure that it fit the personality before we moved on to making the official headpiece. The first one was just a prototype that we made out of scraps. It wouldn't have worked properly, so we needed one out of a nicer, more full piece of material. So we're just going to trim that to shape. We're going to glue it to the little foam cap that we made. We're going to roll over all of the edges, and we're going to make sure that it is shaved and shaped to look really natural, and then we're going to put a big animal nose on the end of it. This is really fun and just such a unique piece of puppet clothing. I don't think we've ever done anything like that before. So again, we're just kind of cutting it and trimming it to fit exactly on the puppet's head. And then we're going to go around and tack it in a few places. Now we're not going to glue it or do anything too permanent in case whoever adopts this puppet doesn't want the headpiece or wants them to wear another hat or something like that. And now for the spots, I've gone with the dark midnight blue fleece that we have on the eyelids. I've just cut some abstract shapes, pinned them in place, and then I'm going to hand sew the two pieces of fleece together to make sure they look nice and blended. And like they're growing out of the puppet skin, they live underground. So, you know, cave spots. Once those are sewn in place, we're going to move on to adding some shading and some definition. Adding airbrush to the puppets for season 4 has definitely been such a nice finishing touch. I sometimes feel that the puppets don't look finished at all anymore unless they've got that nice little airbrush shadow and depth that we can add. So we're going around underneath the eyes. This puppet lives underground, so they're very tired. Around the spots, around the tongue as well, and then we're going to move on to the jewellery. So we wanted very natural pieces, so this bracelet has stones and flowers and things that, you know, possibly a caveman could put together and adorn themselves with. And then we're going to double up on some jewellery because they of course need a bear tooth and skull necklace. That is what every cave dwelling blue man needs, of course. They looked too stark and clean and white though for a cave dwelling creature, so we've gone with some dry brush to add some colour and some definition to them. We wanted them to look a little bit more used and a little bit more textured and dingy. I just felt they looked too clean. But here we are, ready for our finished monochrome Wilson puppet. I say this every episode, but this is the joy of Roll for Puppet. This one is so different than anything we've created so far. It looks so different than the last Wilson we created, the last underground creature that we created. They are so unique. I love their expression. Their headpiece is just really, really fun. And of course, this puppet will be joining the ranks with the council members if you would like to adopt any of the puppets that have been created in Season 4 so far. You can head over to our website. All the links will be in the description. But as always, please leave your name suggestions for this character and crazy detailed backstories in the comments. I cannot wait to read them. And thank you so much for watching this episode. I really hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to check out the rest of the episodes in Season 4 so far, and do not forget to check out the Pin of the Month Club on our Patreon. And there's lots of fun tiers over there as well. You can support us from as little as $2 per month, and you get these episodes early and ad-free, as well as polls, discount codes, book clubs, Pin of the Month clubs, and lots more. And head over to our website if you would like to pick up your All Hail the Bandsaw pin to show your allegiance.